Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Pitstick. Welcome to video number 3 of my free mini course, 11 Keys to Helping Yourself, Others, and Our World. If you haven't watched videos number 1 and 2 on this topic, please do so. You can learn more about me, my training, experience, and outreaches at soulproof.com/about. We're talking about keys to helping yourself, others, in our world, and the 7th one is to release old wounds, needless fears, and limiting beliefs. Many people have suffered from abuse, prejudice, and judgment. Others have been exposed to limited or just plain wrong teachings about the nature of reality. As a result of all this, people needlessly fear all sorts of things that don't exist: death, separation from others and source, original sins, being born into sin, there being an unforgivable sin, there being a fiery eternal hell that you might end up in. My God, no wonder so many people are such a mess right now. And if you look at the truth, for example, and make original meanings of the word sin, it meant to miss the mark, to make a mistake. Hello, we all do that. You know, kids do that. Certainly humans have always do it. And what do you do when you miss the mark? Then you repent, which meant say you're sorry, make amends, and do better the next time. It's that simple. And isn't that how a loving, caring, and intelligent creator would operate? You know, versus what we're told about a creator by some denominations. So fortunately, old wounds, needless fears, and limiting beliefs can be eliminated or greatly minimized over time. It's a really big topic, and how to do that is explained more fully in the book Greater Reality Living that Gary Schwartz and I wrote. And also it's in the young person's version of the book called The Big Picture of Life, written by us and Kata Mapes, M-A-M-E-D. And also, of course, I go into great detail and provide resources how to do this in the 12-hour course that's being featured on humanitiesteam.org. Now, to learn more about this topic, see articles number 49, When You Have Been Abused, 67, Contrast Souls, 79, the Holistic Breathing Technique, a wonderful way to get rid of this old pain and wounds, and number 11, Release the Past for an Optimal Now. I mentioned the Holistic Breathing Technique that's described in article number 70, and you can get the audio program at soulproof.com/shop to release old wounds, needless fears, and limiting beliefs. It's only $15. This involves deep, noisy, diaphragmatic breathing for 45 minutes. It's the only one of my audio programs that doesn't involve deep relaxation and guided imagery. And again, remember, if you can't afford that, if you truly can't afford that, let us know. Email mark@soulproof.com and we'll send you a free digital copy. We want all this information and resources to be available to all people around the world, so please tell others. The 8th key for helping yourself, others, in our world is to expand your circle of kindred spirits. Expand your team. So it's very helpful to have others in your life who are on the same wavelength. And often those aren't family members. I remember when I was young, I thought, well, family members would just naturally be kindred spirits and we'd be on the same wavelength. And I found that's not been the case except for a few people. So it's important to find other people who may be your soulmates, even though they're not blood relations. Now, keep in mind that if you wait to find someone who's perfect, then you won't have any friends. You and they may not agree on everything, but at least you can have respectful discourse and appreciation of differences. you can have a strong feeling of love for one another, respect for one another, that oftentimes just is very apparent early on. So expanding your inner circle, family of friends, what some call your tribe, makes you feel less alone, makes you feel more connected with others, and then you're more able to do what you as a soul, being of consciousness, came to earth to do. Now, you may have to release suboptimal relationships, and you may need to heal broken relationships, whether it's through divorce or a breakup or the passing of a loved one, before you have room to form new ones. And so I'll recommend some articles that help you do that. If you don't yet have more evolved relationships in all phases of your life, a significant other, family, and friends, see article number 66 for places that people with more open hearts and minds often congregate. And one key is to get involved in service organizations, since more evolved people almost always are involved in service or one way or the other. So another article I recommend, number 52, All Life is Sacredly Interconnected. 61, When a Relationship Breaks Up. And as I mentioned, 66, Optimal Relationships for More Evolved People. Now, to the point of healing old broken relationships and knowing when to let go of toxic current relationships, my what's called HATS technique, Healing and Transforming Suffering, as described in article number 84, and of course there's an audio program for that, to heal old relationships and create room for new ones. The ninth key to help yourself, others, in our world, and I know I keep repeating that, but I would like that to become a mantra for you, something that just easily flows off your tongue, so more and more people can get this idea, an idea whose time has come and is now practically available for lots of reasons. So the ninth key is to learn about the Soul Phone Project. I know a lot about this. I'm the director of the Soul Phone Foundation. I'm a research assistant for the Soul Phone Project, and Dr. Schwartz is right-hand man. Dr. Schwartz is the director at the Laboratory for Advances in Consciousness and Health at the University of Arizona. He's a former professor at Harvard and Yale, now professor emeritus at the University of Arizona. And his research is providing much inspiration, comfort, and knowledge about the real nature of life, how life is set up. It's also going to contribute to what we call post-material communication technology, meaning ways to communicate with your loved ones who have passed on, as well as luminaries. I mentioned Einstein, Edison, Tesla, and others who stand ready to help us heal ourselves and our world, to pass on their knowledge from a less obstructed part of reality. But we need a better way to transmit a higher quality and quantity of information with them. Now, Dr. Schwartz works with a team of visionary electrical engineers, software programmers, evidential mediums, and then what we call the A-team. We have about 30, so they were all geniuses, highly productive, top of their fields while they lived on Earth. And the information we have is that they're continuing to work in the next realm, for example, Tesla on free energy, which would change our planet so much. Also, we are told that for every one of those 30 that we can deal with our team of about 8 evidential mediums, there are hundreds more waiting in the wings for, to share their strengths, their knowledge. The Soul Phone Foundation that I direct exists for 2 reasons. First, to educate people worldwide about the collective evidence that now without a doubt proves life continues after bodily death. and secondly, to help raise funds for the project, because the university doesn't pay for everything. It's very costly to have these highly skilled team members, electrical engineers, etc. Next year will be a very exciting one, 2025, in which we will, for the first time, publicly announce globally that life after death has now been scientifically proven. That will be the first time that statement can be made accurately and reliably, because no one has done true scientific research like Dr. Schwartz has for the last 20 years. And we're getting everything in place. A book called The Soul Phone Experiments, written for lay people, because most academics won't even consider this. Many academics are agnostic or atheists, don't believe in a higher power, and nihilists, meaning they don't believe in an afterlife. So Dr. Schwartz has given up on writing scientific papers for this, although he's written over 450 on other topics, and some earlier on the Soul Phone project. The other big event that will happen next year is widespread or global demonstration of communication, starting with post-material persons, starting with the Soul Switch, which is a binary device providing highly accurate, reliable, and fairly rapid yes/no answers to questions posed to people who have passed on. We have a lot of infrastructure to get in place, a lot of beta testing, presenting this to smaller groups first, especially scientists, to gain more credibility. But if you sign up for the newsletters at soulproof.com or soulphone.org, you will receive updates about when these two historic events are going to occur. Now, I mentioned the Soul Switch. That's not been considered to be not been envisioned to be a commercializable service and device, but rather a component for the Soul keyboard. Our engineers tell us that we may need as few as 8 switches to have a keyboard to be able to, for post-material persons, to type in numbers, words, and symbols by using a combination of those 8 switches, kind of like Morse code. And that then will provide a greater quality and quantity of information from these post-materialist scientists, inventors, educators, religious leaders, and others. That then should allow more information from them to continue research and development on the next 2 devices, Soul Voice, allowing to talk with those who have passed on, and Soul Video, which would be like we're doing now, video conferencing. So to learn more about the anticipated Soul Phone devices, visit soulphone.org/about. Perhaps you remember the wonderful movie called Ghost with Demi Moore, Patrick Swayze, and Whoopi Goldberg. And if you haven't seen it, please do yourself a favor. But a key point in the movie where Patrick Swayze, who is in spirit, was killed, is working really hard to lift a penny up in the air so Demi Moore, his girlfriend, can see it and know what Whoopi Goldberg has been telling her. He's really alive, well, and right next to her, still wants to be part of her life. And the moment where Demi really gets that, shifts from fear, anger, guilt, shock, hopelessness, loneliness, to peace, joy, love, gratitude. And that's what can happen worldwide for many people with these Soul Phone project big events next year. Again, scientific announcements of scientific proof of life after death, and then public demonstration of the early technology. In my work with grieving persons, especially with parents with a child who's passed, many of them have had an awakening, have shifted from that dark night of the soul to being a shining light, with just one really good mediumistic visit, sometimes just one really specific and detailed hit that there's no way the medium can know about their loved one had passed. And it's like the light comes on. They see the light. They're like, oh my God, this is really real. There really is life after death. My loved one is really present and they want to be part of my life. And I've seen it happen a number of times. Well, just imagine the collective effects of the events I just mentioned on people around the world. And so our hope is that these Soul Phone Project events next year, along with the organizations that I'll mention soon, and along with millions and millions of near-death experiencers, shining light parents, people who have had spiritually transformative experiences. Think of the net effect of all that, and that's why we're so hopeful that really we can reach a tipping point within a matter of maybe 5 years or so. It can happen a lot more quickly than most people realize. So to learn more about the Soul Phone Project, visit soulphone.org, sign up for the free newsletters, see articles number 35, the Soul Phone Project, and number 44, Soul Phone Project Updates. Until the Soul Phone technology is available, one of the best ways to communicate with your loved ones who have changed worlds, people or pets, is described in my article number 9 at soulproof.com, and using a technique I created called Facilitated Afterlife Contact Technique. Again, quieting the brain, allowing your senses, your awareness to come to the fore and experience what's always been around you. Your loved one's right there. So be sure to check that out. The 10th key to helping yourself, others, in our world is to focus on higher energies, emotions, and ways of being. And there's an art to this. It's under your control. It's ultimately a choice. So yes, this earthly experience can seem totally dark, senseless, and hopeless at times, or for some people all the time. And keep in mind, I've worked with tens and tens of thousands of people over the last 52 years in hospitals, pastoral counseling centers, psychiatric institutions, prisons, mental health centers, private practice, via my radio shows, lectures, webinars, seminars, etc. So I know what it's like out there. I do. However, I have also seen people who they realize they can choose to find the blessings, the silver linings, to benefit from them and share with others. And if they can do it, all of us can do it, especially when you know the information in this course. You use the recommended resources. I'm giving you a formula, and take relevant action steps that are discussed in these articles, ones that apply to you. Now, this isn't just wishful thinking that amounts to sticking one's head in the sand, wish upon a star. This is a powerful shift, a proven path to shifting, to focusing on the beautiful, the inspiring, and the empowering that's all around you. It's all about energy. We are beings of energy. And the more we choose, as Esther and Jerry Hicks say, reach for the highest feeling thought. And if there's 99, quote, bad things happening, if you focus on one good thing, then that turns the tide and it just expands. It's so powerful. It's really magic. It's like sacred transmuting, sacred alchemy. So I've done this myself, and I've seen many people do it. I'll just give you one quick example. A dear friend, Reverend Geraldine, she was telling near the end of her life, she was almost 80, that when she was 13, she was raped by an uncle. And she went to her parents and told them, but this was in the 1930s, and no one believed her. People didn't believe kids back then. The uncle denied it, so it continued, and young Geraldine got pregnant as a result. Her parents kicked her out of the house, and now she is 14, pregnant, homeless, no money, African American, and what was she going to do? But she made it. She didn't give up and became a Unity minister, an author, a wonderful teacher who helped thousands and thousands of people in her life. So when she was speaking near the end of her earthly experience, she said, people ask me if I could go back and change all that, would I? And the answer is no, no way. Because if I had, I wouldn't have this strength of spirit that allowed me to help so many people like I've had. So that's what we're talking about. Native Americans called it being strong as a bear. And you can do that no matter what's happened to you or is going on right now. I've seen it. People are paralyzed. Look at Christopher Reeves, paralyzed from the neck down. I've seen it in so many people. So as Helen Keller, who certainly had her share of adversity, and then some said, life is either a daring adventure or nothing. To keep our faces toward change and behave like free spirits in the presence of fate is strength undefeatable. So that's what we are, free spirits, and that's a big part of doing this, is remembering who you are. You're an eternal being of consciousness. You're one with the one. When you remember all this time on earth is a blink of an eye in the span of eternity. There are blessings to everything. When you remember that, then you can make this breakthrough. And one thing that may help you is an epiphany I had. I awoke one morning, it was before I even opened one eye and see what the alarm clock, what time it was, and I realized that I had a round, like a really wise saying going through my head for a while, and I wanted to catch it before I lost it. So I closed my eye again and caught it one last time going through and wrote it down immediately, and it was this. This earthly experience is a totally safe, meaningful, and magnificent adventure amidst forever. So that's one you may want to write down where you can read it multiple times a day till you have it memorized. Again, this earthly experience is a totally safe, meaningful, and magnificent adventure amidst forever. I believe that is being reminded or taught this by my inner self or by my team, and so that I could pass it on to others. So I try to live with that perspective no matter what's happening to or around me, and perhaps you want to make that your intention as well. So to learn more about this, see articles number 108, entitled Higher Energies, Emotions, and Ways of Being, and article number 112, Creating the Greatest Life You Have Envisioned. The holistic breathing technique that I mentioned is a great way to release lower energies, emotions, ways of being, and then to use the Ask Your Soul technique to learn how to create higher ones. So it's kind of like the in with the good air, out with the bad. It's really as simple as that. Upgrade what you focus on. The 11th and last key to helping yourself, others in our world, is to join groups to help you evolve personally and help our world evolve. So it's easy to complain about how bad things have gotten, how horrible those people are. However, as an old Eastern aphorism notes, it's better to light one candle than to curse the darkness. Continues, we never know how much something we say or do today may help others tomorrow. So really important, don't spend too much time watching all the negative news, talking about it, thinking about it. Instead, just do one thing. What's one thing you can do to make the world better? A teaching attributed to Jesus in Matthew 7:3 reminds us, why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? So again, try not to focus on other people so much. It's so easy to do. You can see other people's faults so clearly, but what about focusing on your own and improving yourself? And this isn't being critical. I'm saying this out of love and respect. and experience. This is part of how to fulfill the goals of this course. So many love-based religious and spiritual groups have long taught important truths. For example, love, help, and forgive your neighbor and yourself. Don't fear change and death. Those are just parts of life, and they're so fleeting. You're one with the one right now. Share your greatest gifts and let your light shine. Don't hide it under a bushel. And remember that you have more guidance, assistance, and love from within and all around than you can imagine. Now we're talking about organizations that you can join to help reach the goals of this course. And so there are open-minded, service-oriented, and enlightened Christian groups I've found that include Unity, Unitarian Universalist, United Church of Christ, which is UCC, also spiritualist centers and centers for spiritual living, which is a merger of science of mind and religious science. Now, there are other, I grew up Lutheran, I attended Methodist Theological School, I've attended literally every denomination, so I'm well aware that all churches can be good. It's just that some of their theology is dated. Some of them are still focused on ancient doctrines and still go through all the rituals. When I was writing my book, Soul Proof, I was researching and about hell, and so I called a church, a Protestant denomination. I said, what is your church's view on hell, the nature of hell? And he said, well, our canons in the 16th century state that hell is a place where the unrepentant go. And I said, I know in the 1600s, but what does your church believe now? And there was this pause, and he said, well, we still believe in our ancient church canons. And I thought, oh my God, really? Over 400 years later, but anyway, that's just the way it is. So to learn more, see article number 16, Evidence-Based Teachings about the Nature of Reality. So again, regarding Christianity, which is the religion I'm most aware of, other denominations can be good if they try to be more like Jesus instead of judging others who don't follow the dogma of their particular group. If they recognize the interconnection among all life as taught by great church songs such as His Eye is on the Sparrow and Jesus Loves the Little Children. These other churches may be good if they don't pretend they have an exclusive path to God, and if they have respect and appreciation for other approaches that are reasonable. I believe in the saying, truth is one, paths are many. Now, in addition, there are non-religious organizations that I'll name, and I'm honored to be part of them in different ways, have been or am now. I'm sure there are others, and I welcome learning about them. So you can see article number 119 to learn more about each one of these organizations, and I'll mention them in alphabetical order. First, the Academy for Advances in Post-Materialist Sciences, aapsglobal.com is their website. The Essentia Foundation, and their website is essentiafoundation.org. That's ESSENTIA. Eternia.org, and that's ETERNEA. Evolutionary Leaders, and their website is sourceofsynergyfoundation.org. Gaia.com, and that's spelled GAIA. The Galileo Commission, GalileoCommission.org. Greater Reality Living Groups, GreaterRealityLiving.com. Helping Parents Heal, which I've mentioned, helpingparentsheal.org. Humanities Team, also mentioned, and their website is humanitiesteam.org. The Institute of Noetic Sciences, IONS, IONS.org. The International Association of Near-Death Studies, iands.org, that's IANDS.org. Seek Reality, seekreality.com. The Soul Phone Foundation, soulphone.org. And the Shift Network, theshiftnetwork.com. And finally, my website, soulproof.com. This website has much information and free resources to help you, others in our world. 122 free articles, 25 free radio shows, interviews I did with Drs. Wayne Dyer, Michael Newton, Anita Moorjani, Raymond Moody, Carolyn Mace, Brian Weiss, and others. So much to learn from there. Free newsletters, and the free Soul Proof documentary film, a 90-minute movie available at soulproof.com/shop. As mentioned, my 8 books, 10 transformative audio products under shop are inexpensive. However, we will send free digital copies of these to those who want, need, but truly can't afford them. Over the last 50 years, I've learned much about holistic healthcare, spiritual awareness, having an optimal earthly experience, and creating heaven on earth. And I want this information and resources to be available to all people. Thank you for sharing with others this practically attainable vision and path to fulfilling it. Now, when you share it with others, that helps you better understand it and internalize it. Maybe you want to start by discussing this topic with close family and friends, and then expand outward, sharing it with your church or spiritual group, brainstorming with them how you can use this information and make a difference in your group and community. Post the article on social media sites and respond to comments. So thank you for sharing it with others. Because again, this program can literally improve every aspect of your life, and it helps those in your sphere of influence. And this effect, just like the mom who is suicidal, when magnified by many people doing the same, can help you, others in our world. A grassroots expansion of this vision and path can be the tipping point for all people in our world. It really can be that simple. Now, to summarize, conventional wisdom says, well, I'll believe it when I see it. However, as Wayne Dyer and other visionary teachers have pointed out, it may be more true that here's how it works. You'll see it when you believe it. So could it be that many people in our world suffer needlessly when the basic understandings and action steps described in these videos could remedy things? Helping yourself, others in our world might seem like an insurmountable task, but it actually can happen much more easily and quickly than you might imagine. Here's a metaphor for that. I used to run in a lot of races, 10K, 20K, and over the years I've watched many other races involving my children and grandchildren. Over those years, I've noticed an almost universal event. And we're talking about the stragglers, not the top runners, but those, say, in the second half. Runners who look like they're ready to fall over, they're just kind of plodding along, but they spring to life when they see the finish line, when they hear the crowd cheering, and know they're going to make it. It's within reach. They had more, sometimes much more, energy, ability, and strength than they realized. Similarly, the same is true for all people. You can do better in all aspects of your life than you might imagine. Your close family and friends, your post-material loved ones, angels, guides, master teachers, the light, and your real self, your higher self, are all rooting you on, cheering you on every day, reminding you of what you know, reminding about the big picture of life. So I hope these videos help you see hope and hear encouragement to do what you came here to do. Now again, humanitiesteam.org has a 12-hour course that includes Much more information about all this, 3 free ebooks and 8 audio programs if you want to take a more involved course with this. But I wanted to make a shorter and free course available. Finally, remember that you're never alone. This is one of the concerns sometimes when a loved one passes on, no one else is around, but we're never alone. And that's especially true in this quest. Your part in this magnificent journey is recognized and aided by all levels of being. Much love and assistance is available from your angels, guides, master teachers in the light. Remember that also working on this are shining light parents, as discussed in article number 82. People have had near-death experiences, article number 94. People have had spiritually transformative experiences, articles 17 and 68. And in general, more evolved people and souls, articles number 23, 66, and 117. So again, this is eminently achievable, especially with all of this help, all of these levels of forces involved. And remember to learn more about the nature of God, the light, see article number 13, and higher energy assistance, articles 73 and 108. Helping yourself, others, in our world is the ultimate adventure. Your soul may have signed up for it. If you feel called to do this, your involvement is needed, and welcome aboard. Together we can do this. Thank you for sharing with others, and let it shine.